What up, everyone? Andy XP from the Grim Killers Ignited. We are here with a reaction video. Uh, the creepiest things found under their floorboards. Well, that people found under their floorboards is from Matthew Santoro. You probably heard of him. I'm gonna link this video and his channel in the description so you can check him out. Um, so I kind of have my camera big for the background and his video kind of small. Sorry, but it's to avoid copyright problems. I don't know if he copyrights his stuff or not, but I don't do reaction videos often. And the last time I did one, I got in trouble. It was because people were getting hurt. But if I do it this way, I'm sure I'll be fine. But I don't know how often I'll do reaction videos. So let's just see how it goes. And by the way, please, um, if you haven't already, and I know I've been saying this a lot, go check out Kid Corner. Help her reach 300 subscribers. She's got about 293, 94 or something. So if I can get some of you guys to go over there and do some subscribing, that would be great. Help her out. She's a pretty good, cool kid. She actually just uploaded something that was actually pretty cool. So go check that out. It was awesome. So here we go. Matthew Santoro.
Imagine that you're sitting at home and you notice that one of your floorboards sticks out a little more than the others. Out of curiosity, you check it to find that it's not just a loose floorboard, but that there's actually something hidden beneath it. Something that was intended to be kept secret. Something that will definitely make you want to move.
See, now I'm nervous.
Here are the 10 creepiest things people found under their floorboards.
Nice effects, man. That's awesome. I love it. Bring it.
Number 10 is a secret cellar.
I wouldn't doubt it.
In 2013, YouTuber DEMC7 rented a one-bedroom studio apartment in England. While exploring his new place, he found something very strange under a section of floorboards. At first, he thought it was a small hole for extra storage, but soon after, he realized that there was a staircase leading down into a dark corridor. This was strange as the apartment hadn't been advertised as having a basement. Taking his camera, DEMC7 descended into the darkness to see what was below. He found a large network of rooms and corridors which led under the building. As he moved, he could hear his neighbors as he was standing underneath their homes. The area appeared to be a completely abandoned level of the house, but the question remained, why was such a large space unadvertised?
You know, that's kind of weird. That kind of, I don't want to do this a whole lot during the video because you guys like the reactions. But, that's weird. That could be like someone that lived there previously probably had it crafted as either a spy type of thing, or it could have been something about the Underground Railroad. Who knows? The Underground Railroad, that was in a lot of houses.
Number 9 is a hidden well.
Oh my god, no way.
Colin Steer thought that he knew every nook and cranny of his Plymouth home, but even after 20 years, it had a shocking surprise for him. After pulling up some kitchen floorboards to carry out some maintenance, Colin was dumbfounded by what he found. Staring back at him from beneath his home was a long brick shaft descending underground. After pulling out rubble and soil which blocked the entrance, Colin discovered a 5-meter deep well made of old stone. Research revealed that the well was at least 400 years old, but many suspect it dates back farther to the Dark Ages. Further examination revealed a shocking fact. A sword was embedded deep in the well wall, as if someone had been thrown down there and tried to climb back out. If a body had ever been down there, it's been covered by a blanket of sludge in history.
Can you imagine that? You have a well under your floorboard, and your floorboards break by accident, and you fall down something like that. How are you going to explain that? I mean, obviously, there was a well there, but why would you build a house over a well? Who did that and why?
Number 8 is the KFC tunnel.
What the hell?
After a KFC closed in St. Louis, Arizona, no one expected to find anything inside other than empty rooms and perhaps the lingering smell of fried food. Instead, what was found shocked the local community. Under some broken tiles there in the floor, there was a small hole, barely large enough for someone to fit through. At first it was disregarded as just another crumbling piece of dilapidated building, but upon closer inspection the eerie truth was revealed. The hole led deep underneath the building and then entered a long excavated tunnel. From there, a wooden walkway meandered its way underneath the Arizona streets above. Police officers followed the walkway and discovered that it was about 182 meters in length. Nefarious cartels had been using the tunnel to smuggle narcotics and bring people underneath the US-Mexican border.
Uh-oh. That's
Number
not something
7
to
is
fuck
the
with.
kit.
The kit. I want to hear this.
Redditor Daily Dishable recorded a terrifying discovery underneath the floorboards of a house that she was renting. One day, she and some friends decided to go into the basement as they had no idea what was down there. Underneath some loose floorboards, they discovered a crawl space which led further beneath the house. So, one of the friends crawled under to investigate. The friend soon returned with a duffel bag that she found hidden in the crawl space,
Bones?
which she also discovered led outside the house. In the bag, they found what could only be described as a serial killer kit. This included a ski mask, a black leather glove, and a hunting knife. Was someone planning to break into their house via the crawl space? Or was the bag left over from a previous tenant who flirted with the idea of murdering someone? Number
That's
6 is the
disturbing.
HMS Namur.
I'd be scared to even touch the
While carrying out some maintenance work at the Chatham Maritime Museum in England, a carpenter pulled up some floorboards and made an eerie discovery. The museum hadn't just been built on top of an old dock, but a rotting ship known as the HMS Namur. The Namur's wooden beams laid hidden from modern eyes,
No
and
way.
while they had cracked and rotted, enough of the ship remained for it to be identified. The Namur was a 90-gun ship launched in 1756. It was then involved in a series of bloody conflicts, including the Napoleonic Wars. What made the discovery
Free
so
hugs.
creepy was that the museum is the site of paranormal activity, including a young boy who was decapitated by a Royal Marine. Some believe these goings-on are directly related to the Namur, as its bloody past seeps out from the floorboards below.
Did he say something about it being built over water? Or if not, how did you get a ship underneath a freaking building on land? Did they drag it back then, or what?
Number 5 are dead animals.
Oh, that's expected. That's
The
disgusting.
National Trust in the UK is an organization which protects, maintains, and restores buildings that are considered to be of historic value. When their tradespeople are climbing between walls and under floors of buildings that are hundreds of years old,
Yeah.
they occasionally make a macabre discovery. That's exactly what happened in a 17th century house in Durham Park. During the Second World War, the house was the host of a number of children who had been transported out of the British cities for fear of being bombed by the Nazis. In
They would have done
2015,
that
while
too.
carrying out renovation work, 2 mummified rats were discovered underneath the floorboards of a nursery, along with a child's shoe and a wooden toy dog, as well as some chocolates. It was as if the rats had been used as toys decades earlier.
Why the hell would you want your
Number
kids to
4
have
is a
them?
little poem.
Something like that. A little poem. This would be
Redditor Gizmo588 moved into a house in the middle of nowhere with his parents. But instead of being idyllic, the house soon revealed a darker
Poetry.
side. While
That's
exploring one day, Gizmo headed down into the basement. At first, it appeared like any other, but when he looked up, he could see some writing on the underside of the ground floor
Couldn't be any
floorboards.
bad.
Taking a closer look, he saw that the writing read, "I wrote a little poem. I wrote it on my wrist. I wrote it with a blade. I wrote it with a twist." This discovery freaked him out, but it got worse. His
What?
parents soon learned that the house was cursed by death. Not only had an elderly couple passed away in it, but the previous owner, who was assumed to have wrote the poem, was found hanging from a tree in the backyard.
What
The family
the-
soon moved to avoid being the house's next victim.
I would too. I'd be out
Number
of here.
3 are witch marks.
Which marks this would be? By no surprise.
While excavating and restoring the 16th century Old Knoll House in England, archaeologists discovered strange markings on the underside of several floorboards. As it turns out, these markings had an occult background. They were known as witch marks, and they were placed there by someone centuries ago in order to protect the living in the house from the dark supernatural forces. King James I stayed at the house after its construction in 1606. The year previous, Guy Fawkes had famously tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament.
Why?
Some archaeologists believe that at the time, some enemies of the king were using supernatural forces to assassinate him. The witch marks of Knowle House then are testament to the ongoing use of spells and witchcraft to both harm and protect important figures throughout history.
That's cool.
Number 2 are devil coins.
I've never heard of these, to be honest with you.
Renovators and archaeologists at Bath Abbey made an incredible find underneath the ancient floor in June of 2018. Several relics were uncovered, but most worryingly, a series of coins were unearthed. On them were Latin phrases and engravings depicting satanic worship. Some believe that the coins were linked to a desolate island known as Anholt near Denmark. It's rumored that satanic ceremonies took place there, and that a high priestess known as Alice Mandragora visited Christian churches in the 20th century. It was there that she hid these satanic items in order to claim the consecrated ground for the Lord of the Flies himself. Disturbingly, nearly 400 coins have been discovered so far. The origin of the coins are still being debated, but many believe that they were forged on Anholt Island, as innocent victims were sacrificed in a satanic rite.
That's very
And number
sad.
1 is the previous tenant.
No way.
In March of 2017, a man had just moved into his new Houston home. While up in the attic, he realized that one of the floorboards looked a little off. Once he came closer, it became clear that the board was broken and that he could
like
see
how it's
straight
blurred out.
down into the next floor. But it was what he saw that horrified him. The broken floorboard led down between two walls. Staring up from that dark place was the empty cavities of a human skull. After phoning police, the tragic and macabre details emerged. The previous tenant, Mary Cerruti, had vanished in 2015. It appeared that she had either fallen through the floor and was trapped in the wall cavity, or someone had placed her there. The cause of death could not be determined because rats had infested the body and eaten away at it until only a skeleton remained.
That's
So, the 10
disgusting.
creepiest things ever found under people's floorboards.
Boards, yes. Few questions. What the hell? Can you imagine that, guys, though, is like, some of that shit, especially a serial killer kit and that ship under a building. How the hell a ship that big be under someone's building? Something like that, you know? And then a previous tenant, you move into a nice, good place, and then you find somebody in deep down somewhere. Fuck no. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see more of these, leave some comments. Let me know what you want to see me react to, and I'll do it. It could be YouTube poops. I don't care what it is. If you don't know what those are, look them up. They're funny as hell. So, also, go check out Kid Corner. I'm going to keep on doing that until she reaches 300 subscribers. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.